5. I'm loud. Because I talk loud to begin with. So I don't want to be screaming through the speakers. But thank y'all so much for joining me. Number one, my mother has changed my life tremendously. My father really wasn't that great in my life, but because of my mom, I stay here today, I get choked up about it sometimes. But Michelle asked me to come in and speak to you guys about marketing. So we're gonna get started. That's my assistant Charles, so he's recording this today and keeping me on track, making sure I do a good job. So we're gonna get started today, and we're talking about marketing more than a logo. So we don't really have a lot of time, so what I really want to focus on is really teaching you guys the skills that you can start to implement in your business right now and really change and start making more money with what you're doing, okay? Fact, there is 4,083,105,000 people, not on this planet, but on the internet, okay? Over 40% of the world's population has access to this amazing thing we call the internet. Now is the best time ever to be in business. You can connect with anybody, anywhere, anytime, 24 hours a day. You really can. Now, so for the purpose of this, we want to have a working definition. What is marketing? Marketing is the communication of an idea, product, or service from one person to another. And I know y'all like Kevin, that is revolutionary. I have never heard that before, right? But what is marketing? Marketing is flirting. Anybody married? How many folks married? Y'all get it, marketing. Trust me. Marketing is basically, it's flirting. It's, you can see this, but you got to pay for this, okay? But that's really what marketing really is. It truly is that. So, how do we do this? From the beginning of time, we sat around and we told stories. This is what we found. Don't go over there in the bushes. There's a line over there in the bushes, okay? This is how you create fire. We were able to transfer this information by telling each other stories. This is revolutionary, right? Who with me? Now, where do we tell these stories? Well, today, and for the purpose of this talk, we're talking about Facebook. We tell our stories through pictures, text, and videos. Instagram, we can tell it through pictures and videos. Google, we can tell it through websites, blogs, videos, articles, audio, podcasts. I mean, you name it, you can almost do anything with Google. LinkedIn, we can tell it through articles, pictures, videos, and text. LinkedIn is becoming a very, very powerful source, and if you are in business, trust me, it needs to be your first go-to network and not your last stop. I know most of us, I don't know if y'all as old as I am, but most of us pretty much started out on Facebook. Facebook was the first person to really break through, and everybody gravitated to Facebook, and typically wherever you start out at, that's pretty much what you kind of reside to most of the time. Like, I got a huge following on Facebook, but on Instagram, not so much. So, we also tell our stories through TV, radio, magazines, newspaper, etc. Okay? Now, the next thing we need to figure out is who are we telling these stories to? All right? We like to call this what? Our target market. This is revolutionary, right? It's gonna get good, I assure you. So, our target market, and what I like to say, who has my money? All right? Who's gonna do business with me? And why do they want to do business with me? All right? That's really what it is. You have to break these concepts down. We can go over a lot of big words, but what I found, when you have speakers that come up and give you a whole bunch of words, and it sounds like a book, they don't know what they're talking about. They just read this stuff in the book and they're regurgitating what they read. All right? So, we want to talk about our target market. Now, what I have found in my career, there are two types of people. Guess what they are? Who think they know? Anybody? Buyers and sellers? Anybody else? It's all right. It's okay. My man said we can't. His mom. Leaders and followers. Leaders and followers? Okay. There are typically two types of people in this world. Left brain and right brain people. That's it. Not even men and women, not black and white, not anything else. Left brain people and right brain people. Y'all like my little diagram right here? I found him at like 2:30 this morning. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get this presentation going. It's all right. It's been a busy week. But left brain people, what are the characteristics of left brain people?
Creative.
They like details. They're fact oriented. They like numbers. And they're logical thinkers. Okay? These are your left brain people. Analytical people. This is what I like to call them, analyticals. Funny story. My little nephew called me. He's like 24 years old. I'm so proud of his boy. His father left him way when he was young, but he went to college. His mom really worked hard with him. So now he makes probably $80,000 a year. Smart little kid. So anyway, he calls me and said, I said, what's going on, boy? He said, my girlfriend want to marry me. I said, okay. So we started to talk. I said, well, how long you been together? He said, well, 5 years. Well, I'm from Alabama. We got the same. By now it's kind of pissy to get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, if y'all been together for about 5 years, honestly, it's probably about time. I can understand her starting to press you on that a little bit. I said, let me guess. I said, you went to the internet, you started searching, and you started looking at marriage divorce rates. And you found most marriages end up in divorce. So what I had to explain to him, some decisions we cannot make logical, okay? Getting married is not a decision that we can fully make logical. You need to have some logic in there. But this is more of an emotional decision, right? But he's an analytical person, and that is how analytical people think. Anytime you talk to them, you want to make sure that you have some type of facts, some type of results, some type of numbers to give these people if you're really trying to get them to take action. It's getting good, right? Yes. The next person is our right brain person. That's my little dude. They like art, they like music, they like feelings, they're emotional people. Make me feel something. I want to be in love, I want to be happy.
That's a Libra.
But these are right brain people. These are how they connect with people. This is how they connect with their work. They're creative people. I like to call them my creatives. Now, why do we care? Right? Y'all saying, well, you know, left brain, right brain, that's great. Why do we care? Because when we're doing our marketing and we're trying to find our target market, we want to make sure that we're casting a very wide net. Because everybody thinks they know their target market, but 90% of the time you really don't. Okay? Your target market is not who you design your product for. It's who it sells to. Would you agree?
Yes.
Now, your job is to reverse engineer this process and figure out, well, why did this person buy from me? And what about my product connected with this person? What in my marketing got this person to follow me? I started to find out that I had a huge following of young men, 35, well, about 25 to about 55. I started wondering, well, why? And why it ain't women? I'm cute. I'm all right. But what I found was they were connecting with me because I represented an entrepreneur to them. I represented what they saw themselves as, right? Crafting a message. So, creative people. These are people who take action based off a deep inner feeling. They are inspired by an emotional message, all right? Our analytical people. These are people who need to see results. Now, what we want to make sure that we do when we craft our message about our service, our product, our idea, is that we are crafting a message that speaks to both of these people, okay? So that way we know you're still not gonna get everybody, let me be honest with you. But when we craft a message that hits the creative in people and creates the analytical part in people, when I connect with you emotionally and I show you these results, now I'm starting to really drill down and get into a target that I can really start to sell to and start to really hone in on my message so I can connect with more people. So, I have a great barber. I love this guy and I love his story more than I love my haircut. But, so, the reason why I love the story so much, a couple years ago, he was in prison or whatever. Now, he got out, he served his time, he did what he was supposed to do. But he got out and he started cutting hair. He started working in a barbershop, and just by chance, he cut my hair one day. He did a good job, would you agree? But he cut my hair, and we got to talking. And I found out this man had entrepreneur aspirations. He wanted to own his own shop and all this type of stuff. So I was proud just to talk to him and have this conversation and see. But he was one of those type of people, he felt like because of some of the stuff I've done in my life, I ain't worthy, I ain't good enough, I shouldn't be able to, run my own business. Fast forward, we finally, over the course of 2 years, he went from having a chair, now he has a beautiful shop in Douglasville, it's called Studio 1211. We got 5 different chairs, 4 different barbers, and I mean, it's an immaculate place. Now, why does that matter? Come to find out, now we always think that there's something new under the sun. There's not. There's nothing else new that we're gonna ever do. We're gonna put a new phrase or a new name to the same old thing. That's pretty much what it is, right? So, toupees are making a comeback, big time, all right? White men call them toupees, all right? Black men, some of us call them man weaves. Horrible word, do not say that. But I call them hair units for me. So, this, as I found out, is a $500 haircut. $500, right? This is not a logical decision. You can't get me to pay for a $500 haircut. I'm sorry. There's nothing you're gonna do to get me to pay for a $500 haircut. But we were able to get him in the program. He got certified on how to do this. Now, he was very excited about it, and he put this out. He said, "What's up, Facebook? I made my first legal $500. First of all, he knows what I'm talking about. But first of all, this whole thing denotes that you did something bad somewhere. We don't want to say that. That's the first thing we want to change in our message. He said in 3 hours. Yup. I'm doing the Man Unit Plus. I have creative artist Trey Trims. He's a big time dude that does this. Coming to my barbershop, 1211, to do a hands-on certification hair replacement man weave class. How many men do you think signed up? How many men do you think even like the post? Nobody, right? But I'm an entrepreneur. I heard $500. That's the only thing I heard. I said, I can sell this. I know I can sell this. So, what do we have to do? Now, this right here is an emotional decision. It has to be made emotional. We can also reach analytical people because they do have an emotional side. Nobody is completely left-brained. Nobody is completely right-brained. Most people are pretty much 80-20. You might be 80% analytical, but you're still 20% emotional. And vice versa. Would you agree? All right. So what did we do? I said, first of all, we can't go back on Facebook. You done ruined that. Because I don't want nobody connected to, right? Now, one powerful thing that you need to know if you do own a business, whether it's brick and mortar or if it's online, one of the most powerful things that you can do for your business is Google My Business. Go to business.google.com. This is probably one of the most powerful listings that you can have for your business, seriously. Yeah. Now, you want to make sure that you find your business name on there. You want to make sure that you verify it. You're going to need an address. They're going to send a little card to your home or they're going to send it to your business. You're going to need to give them that verification, and then that will give you control of this listing. This listing is very, very powerful. Google is the #1 search engine all over the world. I don't care where you go, everybody knows how to Google something. And typically, about 99% of us, if I ask you to look for something, you're going straight to what? Google. Exactly. Exactly. Now, the reason why Google is so powerful and why your Google business listing is so powerful is that Google trusts its own information first. So all the information that you put into this Google business listing is what Google is going to trust over your website, over Facebook, over Instagram, and everywhere else. So we definitely want to make sure that we are making as much use of this Google business listing as possible. Now, We're talking about a $500 haircut, right? We're talking about man weave, right? So, what we need to do is, we got to change our message. And we need to change our message in a way that speaks to left-brain people and right-brain people. Because we want to cast a wide net and see what we get back. All right? They didn't know that a certain bait was going to catch catfish until they put it in the water and nobody else responded for the catfish, right? So we want to make sure that we cast a wide enough net that we can get in front of enough people so we can figure out who really wants our product or service. So this is what I did. So on August 30th, I went back, I found this post, I said, we're gonna fix this. So I said, want to look younger, what am I appealing to?
Older.
Emotions. Every man wanna look younger, you wanna look younger, right? You look good, but we all wanna look younger, you wanna look younger, I do too. But want to look younger, get that full head of hair back. I ain't gonna say nothing about you, sir. You look like you're rocking yours the way you want to. But get that full head of hair back. Come in and try our new hair unit for men and get your sexy back. What am I appealing to? Everybody want to feel sexy. I want to feel sexy, you want to feel sexy. We all do. So when we trigger and pull on that emotion, that is something everybody wants to feel. So now I'm identifying this product with that emotion. Seriously, you don't want to feel sexy? But when we identify with that emotion in men, now I got you excited. Okay. Now the last thing was the result. P.S.
Women love it.
Women love it. There go Yam Lucas right there. You ain't always got to tell them how much it costs, but you always got to tell them what the result is. Okay? So, I posted this August 30th. By the end of that day, we had 156 views on this post. Initially, when we first put this out, now we did not put any money behind it. This is just organically on Google Business. Google Business now has the ability to post just like Facebook for your business. Now y'all show up? I'm messing with you. But you have the ability to post on Google Business the exact same way that you do on Facebook. I would suggest that you make this a part of your social media routine. So if you post to Facebook and Instagram or these other networks, I would suggest you really add in Google Business to that, okay? 156 views. We got 30 clicks on that post. What does a click mean?
They're interested.
It means they're interested. That means somebody clicked through to this to get either directions to the shop or to give us a phone call. So out of these 30 clicks, 10 men came in and got a man weave, okay? So he typically does out of his own chair, not the whole shop, but out of his own chair, about $1,000 a week, which is pretty good for a barber. This week, we brought in 10 new clients at $500 a head. We took a $1,000 a week and made it a $6,000 a week. That's pretty life-changing for a business, right? Especially 2 years out of prison, that's pretty life-changing, right? But the point of the matter is this: what did I actually change? I changed the message, and I changed who I was talking to. I understood who I was talking to. A few minutes ago, wrong statement to make it anything. Let me give y'all a little bit of advice. Nobody cares about I.
Right.
We live in the me generation. Y'all sitting here listening to me, not to me, because of what I'm telling you that's gonna help you. I'm okay with it, y'all okay with it, right? But that's the generation that we live in. And here, you're not selling me on anything. You're not telling me anything that's getting me interested in what you're doing, okay? So we changed this to say, want to look younger, get that full hair back, come in, try a new hair unit for men, get your sexy back, and get you some wings. This old man here left out that shop with the biggest smile on his face. His wife had the biggest smile on her face. I don't know what they went and did, but that's their business, they grown. But the point of the matter is this. In 1 week, we was able to add $5,000 to this man's income just by simply changing how we were saying something. I didn't change the picture. I didn't try to dress it up with no fancy graphics. All I did was change the message. And that's the biggest thing that we need to do in our social media nowadays. We have to start marketing to people and not at people. Marketing at people and saying, hey, I do this. I do this. Follow Kevin Fry. I do this. And y'all tell me I don't care. Because I'll go right past the post and don't even like it. And it's fine. But the key is you have to talk to people in a way that they see what you're going to do for them. What is the benefit to them? What's your business?
I'm a psychologist.
You're a psychologist.
Yes, and also an author.
I picked on the wrong person. But, so in your marketing, tell me how do you typically market what you do?
Basically, I try to kind of bring it down from like a clinical level just to human level,
Okay.
and more emotions. Like, do you want to feel better, basically?
There you go. She's marketing to me, not at me. She could have just said, hey, I'm a clinical psychologist. You should know what that is. Come sit down to me, because you know you got problems. But no, and I heard you talk, you didn't want to. I'm going to take some time for me too. I'm going to say no to. I don't know if that was directed towards me. But the point is, it's about changing your message. And it's about talking to people and not at people. You want to make sure anytime that you're marketing your product or service that you're hitting two things. This is what it does, and this is the benefit to you. Okay? I'm gonna make you free. You connected with my feelings. You connected with my emotions. What's the benefit of being free? I'm gonna feel good. I might get a man. I don't know who's looking for one. I'm not, but that's the point of it all, though. Is to make sure that you are marketing to people in a way that's connected to them and giving them what they want out of this transaction and not what you want out of this transaction. And when you approach your sales and you approach your marketing in this way and craft your message in this way, then this is how you will start to build a bigger customer base, and you will close a lot more sales talking about the benefits of your service, not the features of your service. Not, I build websites. I don't build websites. I build marketing platforms that help you connect with more customers 24/7. I'm not coming to you saying, hey, I'm gonna build you a WordPress website and you're gonna be able to capture leads and all this type of stuff. I'm confusing you. You don't know what I'm talking about half the time. And you're gonna give me that look you're giving me right now. And you're gonna say, you so nice, little light skinned man, goodbye. But that's what's gonna happen. So, who are we talking to? In this post, we are talking to men. Okay? And I did that on purpose. Not because it was 2:30 in the morning, I was tired. But because I was coming to a women's conference. And a lot of times, I want y'all to understand how to talk to us as well. Okay? Men want the same things that y'all want. I want to feel good, I want to look good, I want to feel respected. Okay? Now, let's be specific about who we were talking about in this post. We're going back to our target market. Who are we talking to? We're talking to bald men. Not all men want a hair unit. A hair unit can't do nothing for me. Okay? But to bald men, this could be revolutionary and life-changing. I remember back when I was younger, my teeth were messed up. After I got my teeth fixed, I was able to smile. Being able to smile changed my life, changed my career, and changed my bank account. Okay? Because when you talk to somebody, versus how you doing? It's a big difference. So we're talking to bald men. Which person are we appealing to? We're appealing to our creatives. I hit that a little bit too fast. I was going to hang out a minute because I see you. I saw you thinking. But we're talking to creatives. Okay? We're hitting that emotional appeal. Because I told you we're going to give you your sexy back. That's a feeling that everybody wants. But we're also appealing to the analyticals. How do we appeal to analytical people?
You gave them the results.
Women love it. That's your result right there. Okay? So, marketing is much more than a logo. Marketing is your story. And communicating your story in the right way that shows me the benefit of you in my life will change your business. Now, they told me I had to take some questions and answers, so yeah. So we are Influencer 365 is my business. I'm the CEO and founder. I'm also part owner of the Atlanta Business Journal here in Atlanta. We deal with branding, digital marketing, public relations, and content creation. That is what we do for businesses and for people. Typically, I do a lot of branding with people. What I'm finding is if I brand you, you can take that success and go anywhere in any industry and use that success. If Tyler Perry come out with a workout program, who gonna join? I know somebody gonna do it. But the point is, about 100,000 people gonna sign up just because it's Tyler Perry. If he's successful in movies, he can probably do a successful workout too. Okay? I'm just saying. So, I also have a radio show. It is on Mondays, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the Real 1100 a.m. I am the host. I sit down with all different types of businesses, business leaders, success people. It's a great show. It's from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can catch us every Monday. Don't sit in traffic cussing folks out, because I know you're mad and I know you're in traffic at 6 p.m. Just turn over to Real 1100 a.m. and then you can tune into the show. Now, does anybody have any questions?
No, I'm not. For the Google business, do you have to pay, or do you, if you want to boost
Google
it, you
Business
pay?
is free. And the beautiful thing about using Google Business is when you start to use Google Business and you start doing the posts, it's just like Facebook at this point. So you can take that same post and create an ad from that. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir. In the back.
So when you start posting, is there some kind of schedule or frequency? So how often?
Typically, what I like to tell people, when we start talking about frequency, you want to be consistent. But that doesn't mean I need to post something every single day. There is a part of just overdoing it and just exhausting your audience, putting out stuff over and over and over again. And when you start talking about posting and start talking about telling your story on social media, people want to see your story. They want to feel like they're a part of your journey, okay? People do not want to see a bunch of flyers. Trust me, if I post this on social media, ain't nobody gonna like it. But when he posts this video of me standing up here, because you feel like you're a part of my journey. You feel like you're a part of my story. And that's the whole point of social media, to tell your story. In this day and age that we live in, you got your own TV station 24/7. So you can tell your story to people, but the key is, how are you telling that story and what type of messaging are you using? Are you talking about, I am speaking at the Moms All In conference? Or are you saying, join me at the Moms All In conference. There's a bunch of powerful speakers. I happen to be one of them. There's a big difference in what I said, right? And that's the way you have to treat your own social media. And that's the way you have to really treat your business. You have to tell people a part of the story and tell them the benefits of being a part of your business. Yes, ma'am.
What's the best way to deal with negative reviews
Answer.
online?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Negative reviews do not kill your business unless you get too many. Number one. There is nobody I know, no organization I've ever worked with, that hasn't upset somebody. And a lot of times it's not your fault. I work with a lot of doctors' offices. Patients get upset with the front office staff. Exactly, they love their doctor. But whoever that is taking these appointments, I can't stand her. I'm just saying. But the key is that you acknowledge it and you answer professionally. And this is why a lot of people contract us to manage their reputation online, because of the simple fact of you have an emotional connection to your business. And somebody talk about your baby, he's like, I know y'all ain't talking about my baby, okay? I know. But you want to answer it in a professional manner. You say, hey, I respect your opinion. Thank you for allowing us to know what the issue was, and let them know that the issue is being handled. Plain and simple, you ain't got to argue with folks. You don't need to go back and forth with people. Because honestly, if there was some type of misunderstanding, that is a problem in your business. Because confused customers don't buy. Upset customers don't buy. So if there is any type of confusion, you definitely want to address it. And negative criticism tells you just as much as the praise. It really does. A lot of times you tell you, well, maybe we need to tighten that up. Maybe I need to answer the phone a little bit nicer. Maybe I need to smile while I'm on the phone to transfer some of that energy.
You also want to respond to positive reviews as well.
This is one of those type things. If you have the time,
Right.
great. But it's not really that crucial. The crucial ones is that you respond to the negative. Because if you're getting 5-star reviews, 5-star reviews, 5-star reviews, a lot of times we don't respond to those. I only respond when it's 3 or lower. That's typically when I respond to a review. Because that's something that we need to show people, hey, we're taking this into consideration, we're figuring out what this problem is, and you don't have to put the resolution out there publicly, you just need to acknowledge it and show that my business is active, we're paying attention, and we're listening to what our customers are saying. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I want to do for like my business is more like inspirational.
Okay.
Sharing like my testimony more like from a ministry side.
Okay.
So like how would I, because since it is my testimony, like how do I then incorporate people and bring them in without them feeling like I all the time, but like incorporating them into my story and sharing my story with them, but then bringing them into it somehow.
It's the perspective that you tell it from, because typically it's a million people on this planet just like you that have gone through the same thing. I know so many folks can raise their hand and say my dad used to beat the mess out of me, or either my dad had left me. You know, a lot of people can connect with that story, but it depends on how we tell it. Now, give me a little idea of it, because
Well, okay, so for example, part of my story is that when I was a teenager, my mom was brutally stabbed to death by her ex-boyfriend because she didn't want to be with him anymore. So she was killed through domestic violence. And so because of that, like I ended up having to grow up really, really fast. I felt like almost like a single mom. Like I felt like I had to give up everything that I was doing to take care of my little sister at the time, who was 7 years younger than me. And she was still in elementary school going into middle school. So it was just kind of like one of those things where I felt like I put myself on hold. And so now that she's older, she has her own family, I feel like I'm finally able to like come out and be able to do like what I've always been called to do. But it's just like, I feel like God put me through those things so that way I can share my testimony and help other women and other young ladies that are possibly going through some of the things that I went through, because like, you know, self-love, self-hate, all those different things. Like as a teenage girl, I didn't have anybody to talk to because my mom was gone. So it was just kind of like my sister could come talk to me, but who could I come talk to? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like now I want to be able to share that and help other young ladies who may feel like they're in the same boat, or even older women, you know what I'm saying, who haven't resolved certain issues. And
but I think you're starting to kind of answer your own question.
Okay.
Because the way that you really want to do this, you want a movement around this.
Yes.
And there is a huge movement around domestic violence.
Yeah.
But you want to be a part of a movement, and you want to talk about we women survivors. Us. Not me, us.
Okay.
And then you let them know, I know your story. I understand your battle. I understand what you went through, and this is what I went through. But you start with them first, throw yourself in the middle, and end with them.
Okay.
It's just like this presentation. We start good, we might fall off somewhere in the middle, we end well, and we had a great time. But I mean, that's really what it is, and that's the way that you want to approach it. It's a 3-step process. You start off, you talk about all women that have been through that situation. Then you start to throw your story in the middle of it, and then you want to end on a note that connects back to the general movement. Yes, ma'am.
It's good she's telling that story because I kind of have my father committed suicide in 2015.
Wow.
And when I put my story out, I didn't put it out. I mean, even when my father did what he did, I instantly told people what he did. You know, there's a lot of shame behind suicide.
Yep.
So when I put it out, I don't put it out for your sympathy. I put it out because this is real. And if you know in your heart's a heart, you have thought about this, you try to, get people to understand. I'm putting it out so that maybe it'll open you up to go, well, maybe I need to. But unfortunately, when you do put it out, it's like people, they're responding to the, oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry about being sorry it happened. I'm putting it out because I want you to be aware.
Yes.
It's okay to open your mouth.
That's true.
And so I'm sure when you put out your story, you get people will attach to your story, and it's like, I don't want you to attach to my story. I want you to be real about this so we can really get the information out.
But the key is, what's the solution in the story? That's what you got to be offering. That's the benefit of what you're doing. This is the solution. This is how I found to solve that problem. This is how I found to solve the work that I used to feel. Because when your parents don't want you, it creates a sense of you're not valuable to this world. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So you always want to make sure that you end it with, this is the solution, and this is what I found, and this is what helped me, and I hope you can take that with you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
This is
Got a Google business and I got my verification. The question I have for you is that once I go in and put the code in, because I got the code in the mail, can I actually link the Facebook and all my other social medias to that Google business?
The last time that we checked, Google Business has not become that way yet. A lot of these platforms, you can link them together like Facebook and Instagram, but Facebook and Instagram are the same company. LinkedIn, you have to do it in a different way. Google Business now is becoming more and more user-friendly with some of these auto-posting programs and stuff like that. I think even with Hootsuite now, that you can actually connect Google Business to that. But from what I have seen and in my experience, you cannot do that yet. And honestly, they're competing companies, so I don't think that would ever be a feature.
Right,
I wouldn't do it
exactly.
if I was
But they
doing it,
are
or
new
Facebook.
suite. You can use Hootsuite.
I think that feature is now. Don't hold me to that, but let me check.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Being new to that, what would be like one of the first tasks that you would, recommend for someone once they just tell the story?
The first thing is just get on there and start posting.
Okay.
One thing you can do is get on there and what have you done on Facebook that has worked? And what have you done on Instagram that has worked? Because a lot of times you can take something that you've already posted and then repurpose that content and put it on a different network because you're going to get in front of a different audience. And then if it worked over on Instagram, let's see if it works on Google. And if it don't, how can I adjust it to make it work? Okay? And then what you have to do is, the beautiful thing about social media and all these platforms is we got data. You can go look, make sure that you have a business page. These personal profiles don't work for you. They don't really help you. It's great, I got friends, but you want data. You want to find out who's liking me, why they like me, what did they like, and how can I do more of that so I can convert these people that's liking me into customers that's buying me. Okay? Anybody else?
So I have, I'm in the hospitality and service business,
Okay.
but I don't cook them.
But I don't cook now.
But at the end of the day, I have a great, and I'm 46, I have a pretty good presence on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I'm starting to make money.
What's a pretty good one?
I have 16,000 followers in the hospitality
Okay.
industry, so that's my niche.
Okay.
And then I find Facebook, I'm posting the same thing across different channels. And I'm just trying, I want to change it up where it's not always the same thing.
Okay.
So like a lot of the people are my clients, and that's how I get clients. But for me, I think that it's a brand, but I'm not exactly sure. I just notice sometimes people say, Tan, when you do this, I'm like, no, I don't understand why I would do that, because it has nothing to do with what
Why
I
do you
do.
want to change?
I want.
Is it personal or is it
I have
showing you change?
no. LinkedIn is good, but Facebook and Instagram, I just don't really.
Let me explain something to you. You don't have to win on every network.
Okay.
I don't win on all of them, but I win on enough of them to get business.
Okay.
And that's the key. You don't have to be, because what ends up happening when you try to be everywhere, you become a jack of all trades and a master of none. So what you want to do, if you already winning on LinkedIn, trust me, camp it out. Go as far as you can with that one, because that's really where your business people are, and that's really where people that's going to actually do business with you and pay for your services. That's what most of them are. On Facebook and Instagram, a lot of times, depending on where you are now, don't get the statement wrong. Depending on what you're doing, Facebook might not be the best thing for you. Instagram might not be the best thing for you. Instagram is great for branding. It's great for getting pictures out there. It's great for telling your story. It's great for celebrities. It's great for fashion. Maybe not so much for what you do.
Okay.
So if you've already found an audience and what you're doing is working with them, don't change. I wouldn't change it to the day to say, but they ain't feeling me no more. Let me find something new. And that's where you see, people in the public. That's where they start to reinvent themselves when what they have been doing all this time stops working for them. We've got ads that we've been running for over a year that's still converting on people. I'm not fixing to change it. I ain't fixing to stop it. I'm just gonna keep throwing money behind it until it stops sending me leads.
I get it.
You're welcome.
So my question was about the.
You asked some hard questions.
I know. I'm sorry. So, okay, you were saying to have a separate business page, right? But what if you basically are the brand? Like, what if?
Fan page.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a page that is for Influencer 365, and then I have a page, I am KC Pride. Please go follow it. Please go like it. But I have a page just for that, and I use it for a multitude of things. Number one, you cannot market from a personal page.
Right.
You need a business profile or fan page to actually, number one, get these analytics. Number two, to actually run ads. And the analytical data is the most powerful thing. I don't care if you got 10 likes on something, or you got 10 people that followed you. What you need to do is dig into those 10 people. Why did these 10 people follow you? What is the commonality amongst these 10 people? And how can I take these 10 people and make that 100 people, and make that 1,000 people, and make that 10,000 people? Definitely. Everybody should, if you are here for business, entrepreneurship, even if you're just trying to get a better job, get you a business page. Because the key is looking at the data of who your followers are. Because when I know who's following me, I know who is responding to my message, I know how to craft the message to them and grow that audience. Okay? You're welcome. Any more questions? I think I'm right on time. I'm not sure. Yes. But I hope y'all have enjoyed this. Oh, also, I keep forgetting. I'm nominated for the Rice Awards. So if everyone would please go to thericeawards.com. I am every day. I'm great at promoting everybody else.
What you under?
Huh?
Which one you under?
Founders Rising Star.
Okay.
Kevin C. Pride. There's some other names on there. Unless
You
it's
gonna vote for
yours.
me too?
Just forget it. What's yours?
You vote for me.
I'm gonna give you my number. You text me your stuff.
Okay.
It's 770. This is what we came up for to connect. 770-870-8806. Text me what you're in, and I will vote for you before I leave this room.
870 what?
It's 770-870-8806. And I gave my number out on the radio one time, like a fool. And my phone started ringing at 2:30 in the morning. My wife started looking at me like I lost my mind. So please, do not butt down me at 2:30 in the morning, because I will be killed. But no, I was giving her y'all my number if y'all need to connect with me, or if y'all interested in our services, or if you want to be a guest on the radio show. Just give me a call. You can also go to our website, influencer365.com. If you go influencer365.com/radio, then there's a form at the bottom. You can submit it, and that'll come right to me, and I can see exactly who you are and what we'll be talking about on the show. Any more questions? Well, thank y'all so much for giving me this time to speak with you today. And I hope you learned something that helped you change your marketing. Because I'm telling you, when you learn how to speak to people the right way, it will definitely help you benefit. Now I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Mark Farham.
You guys get a break? I do the next session on starting a business. I don't know if you